if I was Ben Rutten, I'd be showing that this week. I'd be showing them saying, if you're going to make a stand, this is the perfect time. And go and stand up for yourself. Show your supporters that you do have some grit, you do have a bit of courage, and you're not going to back down against this side and a bloke who did that to you earlier this year.
We're definitely aware of it. We knew what went on. All players are aware of what happened with Luke and Dylan, and there's a little bit of heat in this one. Sydney intimidated us last time, both on the field and physically. So we've got a bit of revenge coming, and hopefully we can match their intensity in the contest. It's rare in footy to get an opportunity so soon to make amends and hopefully show what we're about. And the last time we played them wasn't that.
Parker, can he do something for his side? Hind to land the knockout blow! Bang! There she is! Wow. The Bombers are going to get home!
Welcome back. It was a great day if you were a Bombers fan, not just for the 4 points, Kane Corns, but it felt like with a couple of subplots, they got one back and a little bit of respect.
Yeah, well, they did. And it was interesting scenes after the game, wasn't it, Lordo, with Luke Parker and Dylan Shield speaking. I thought they started poorly, which we'll get to in a moment, but...
Do you think he's apologising?
Squaring up? I'd be guessing, but it looks as though it was received pretty well from Dylan Shield there. The interview with Andrew McGrath with you on 3W was interesting, and clearly they put a big emphasis on it. And
did they fly the flag early? Did you see things early that led to this?
So I loved this from Sam Durham, who's a 20-game player. I thought he was outstanding. I thought he lit the fuse. So just notice the score there early on in this game, 31-8. He was the only one, I thought, that physically went after Luke Parker. So he was prepared to do that and put himself out there, give a free kick away, yes, but make a physical statement. This was back in round 7 last year. So this is Matt Owies, and I highlighted this on the show. I love this because at this stage, Carlton were 2 and 4. We're all coming for the coach, and he was willing to fly the flag for his team. They got the win. So young players can have a massive impact on the contest, and I thought Durham and his performance and his willingness to put himself out there and make a physical statement was a sign of what a strong leader he's going to be for a long time, and some of the young players have been really outstanding and impressive, Lordo.
Yeah, no doubt. I think they played boring football, just boring X's and O's, structure, system, and I think they're playing to their strengths now with more flair. But the problem is, I just want to get something up. I'm probably jumping ahead past Stringer in the rundown here, but I just want to get up what happens in the first half of the seasons at Essendon over the last 5 or 6 years. This is 2 and 4, 18, 2 and 6, nearly seasons over after 8 or 9 rounds. You see across the board, 17 wins and 36 losses early in seasons. Then, in a sense, people will think the pressure builds. But again, I think it's a mental softness amongst the group in that some will say... So it's frustrating in a sense that the win came on the weekend, the win against St Kilda 2 weeks earlier, because this is the runs home late in seasons. They come good.
So you think the good performances come when it doesn't matter?
When the pressure is off, in a sense, where...
That's a pretty damning thing to say about a footy club, though, isn't it?
And I think that when you've got to win games early, I reckon when Richmond got their act together in 17, they went 5-0 early. When Melbourne got their act together I think they were 5-0. You look at what Carlton's doing, Fremantle, the confidence is built early. Even St Kilda, they've had a rut, but they were 5-1 to start the season. That's what you have to do to be. And then what happens is the Bombers win games late in the year, people get excited, and then next year comes around and I think they're back in that position again.
There is no doubt that Essendon are not out of the woods. There are still question marks on, their footy operation, on their CEO, on the coach. But you talk about the first half of the year. Well, Jake Stringer came back this year, not really fit, did hamstrings, missed a lot of games, and then we see on Saturday no real impact early on, then 2 brilliant goals late. I know I think his manager and a lot of people were up in arms when the coach singled him out, but I like Ben Rutten singling him out.
Yeah, and we'll laud him for this and the last quarter heroics, and there's no doubt if it wasn't for him they wouldn't have lost. But this is reflective of Essendon, and it's almost an indictment on the group that they've produced this performance late, as Lordo's alluded to, and him as an individual, because at the end of his career, when you're going to compare him to his contemporaries and players like Ollie Wines and Dustin Martin and Joel Selwood and Dangerfield, they're all going to be Hall of Famers. Jake Stringer had the talent and the ability to be an Australian Football Hall of Fame. He won't be that. And I think he'll sit back and go, well, that's largely on me because, yes, I can do that, but for the first half, I was nowhere.
It's a bit harsh to compare them to Patrick Dangerfield.
Does he have as much talent as Patrick Dangerfield? Does he have as much talent?
But they're completely different. They're completely different players.
Is he the same type of player as Christian Petrarca? Is he the same type as Dustin Martin? Player?
But Jake was a very good player when he was at the Western Bulldogs playing in that role. I mean, he kicked, 45 goals in the Premiership year.
And in the end, they got rid of him. I mean, he was great in their Premiership year.
I'm not saying he hasn't had his problems.
They got
You're
rid of him. He was brilliant last year, got the big contract, and look what happened.
I just don't have a lot of respect for players who don't get the best out of themselves. And I think if he's completely honest with himself, how he's prepared himself, the issues that he's had physically, I think I don't know, but I assume in 10 years' time he'll have regrets with how it's finished and his inability to maximise the talent that he's got, which was on display on the weekend.